Your gut is screaming. Why you ignore it is the real problem. Someone treats you like trash, but the second you push back, they pull out the false equivalence card. This is toxic algebra. They take their major violation, like cheating on you or stealing your work, and equate it to your minor. Defensive reaction. Maybe you raised your voice once. Now suddenly, you're just as bad. It's an instant dismissal of your legitimate pain, how it looks. You bring up them emptying your shared savings account. They fire back. Yeah, well, last month you forgot to buy milk. See, we both make mistakes. Or, you call them out on ignoring you for 3 days. They snap. Oh, so we're not going to talk about that one time you were late to dinner. You're not perfect either. Why does this garbage work? Because they leverage your inherent need for fairness. You know, you're not flawless. So when they point out your tiny flaw, you pause that pause as their win. It minimizes their serious violation by placing it on the same scale as your trivial one. Your concern is now just an accusation, and their responsibility evaporates. Marker phrases, you did that, so we're even now. You're not perfect either, so chill. At least I didn't. Insert something far worse than their actual transgression. This technique is designed to stop you from demanding accountability, making the whole argument about your minor slip-up instead of their massive disrespect. Don't fall for the parody trap. If they're using this, they're not sorry. They're just changing the subject ready for the next level of psychological warfare. It involves absolute silence. The silent treatment isn't just ignoring a call. It is an active punishment, a deliberate emotional withdrawal designed to make you feel invisible and desperate for contact. It's the ultimate control move. They won't argue, they won't communicate. They just act like you literally don't exist. This non-response creates existential panic in the victim. You start running through everything you might have done wrong, even though they are the ones punishing you for an unnamed crime. How it manifests. You ask your partner a direct question about plans, and they stare through you, answering the dog instead. Or you get into a minor disagreement, and suddenly they're gone for 2 days, reading texts from everyone else, but leaving yours on read. They want you to break, they want you to grovel, and apologize for whatever imaginary offense they manufactured. Why it works. Humans are wired for connection. Isolation triggers the same part of the brain as physical pain. When they cut off communication, they're holding your need for validation hostage. You panic, you apologize for things you didn't do, just to restore the perceived normalcy. They don't need marker phrases because the silence dies the phrase. But sometimes they drop crumbs like, you know what you did, or the classic, figure it out yourself. This forces you to scramble, to guess their needs, and effectively train yourself to anticipate their moods, to avoid the next deep freeze. That level of control is exactly what they crave. But silence is nothing compared to active targeted destruction of your network. Isolation is the slow, suffocating process of systematically cutting you off from your support network. Friends, family, colleagues, until the manipulator is the only source of validation, information, and reality you have left. They don't block your phone. They just make your network seem toxic, useless, or actively hostile to your relationship. It starts subtly. They'll criticize your best friend's life choices, implying they're a bad influence. Then they move to your family, saying things like, your mom is destroying our relationship with her opinions. Then the demands start. You need to choose between movie night with me or that stupid happy hour with your useless coworkers. Why does this level of control succeed? Because they exploit your loyalty and desire for a peaceful life. They frame your support system as the source of conflict, making you believe that cutting them off is an act of love or necessary self-preservation for the relationship. Marker phrases are chillingly possessive. Your friends are just using you for attention. You only need me. They don't get you like I do. If you really loved me, you'd stop listening to them. Once you are isolated, your perception of reality relies solely on the manipulator. You lose external checks and balances. This makes you vulnerable to every other technique on this list, especially the ones that tug on your heartstrings. Prepare for the crocodile tears. This is the manipulation technique that turns tragedy into a shield and a weapon. Strategic vulnerability is when the manipulator shares deep, often fabricated or exaggerated, trauma and weakness to gain immediate sympathy, lower your defenses, and make you feel uniquely special and bonded. They weaponize their history. They aren't sharing to connect, they're sharing to control. By exposing their brokenness, they instantly shift the dynamic. You stop being a partner or a peer and start being a therapist, a rescuer or a protector. Example, you bring up a serious issue with their behavior instead of dealing with it. They suddenly break down and share a traumatic story from 3rd grade that somehow excuses their current emotional breakdown. You immediately drop your valid complaint to comfort them. Marker phrases are designed to make you feel like the chosen one. I've never told anyone this before. You're the only person who truly understands how broken I am. Please don't hurt me. I can't handle another abandonment. Why it works. It feeds your ego's desire to be the fixer. You feel honored by their trust and obligated to protect them, which means you can't hold them accountable. Your defenses drop because you think they're too fragile to be malicious. This emotional blackmail ensures you give them endless passes and resources, all while they secretly maintain power. But if you ever try to expose their tactics, they have a plan B: total reputation destruction. The smear campaign is the nuclear option for a manipulator when they realize they're losing control. This is the calculated, systematic destruction of your reputation, character, and credibility to preemptively discredit you. They need to make sure that if you ever speak the truth about their abuse, no one will believe you. They play the victim publicly, painting you as the aggressor, the unstable one, the crazy ex. How it looks, they start spreading half-truths or outright lies to mutual friends, family, or colleagues. They twist past events, taking your genuine reactions to their abuse, like frustration or sadness, and presenting them as evidence of your instability. They might tell everyone, they're crazy, they threw a plate at me, conveniently leaving out the part where they provoked you for 3 hours straight. Marker phrases are dramatic and self-pitying. They're completely unhinged. I tried to help them, but they're too unstable. Ask anyone, they've been treating me terribly for months. Why it works. The manipulator establishes a narrative first. By the time you try to defend yourself, the jury is tainted. Your attempts to explain the abuse sound defensive. While their sorrowful tales sound credible, your reputation is ruined, and your voice is silenced. This is how they win the narrative war. Now, let's talk about the most irritating, passive-aggressive corporate tactic. This is the covert technique where the manipulator pretends to be incapable of doing a specific task, or performs it so poorly that the victim, out of pure frustration or necessity, takes over permanently. It's laziness disguised as helplessness. This is rampant in relationships and workplaces, where one person wants to shed boring or difficult responsibilities without admitting they're lazy. Example, you ask your partner to do the laundry. They put a red sock in with the whites, shrinking your favorite white shirt. When confronted, they apologize profusely, claiming they just don't understand how the machine works. Now, you never ask them to do laundry again. Or, in a corporate setting, they volunteer for a critical report, deliver a messy, unusable draft late, forcing you to pull an all-nighter to fix it. Next time, the boss assigns the report straight to you. Marker phrases are designed to sound pathetic and non-threatening. I don't know how. You do it better. I'll just mess it up seriously. My brain just doesn't work that way. Why it works. It exploits the victim's better competence and lower tolerance for chaos. You'd rather do the job perfectly yourself than deal with the fallout of their deliberate failure. They win by avoiding responsibility, and you lose by taking on their burden. They get to coast, and you get exhausted. They successfully delegate downward through intentional failure, securing more free time and less accountability, all while maintaining the facade of being sweet but useless. The truth is, they're neither sweet nor useless. They're calculating. If you recognized any of these tactics, you are not crazy. You are not overly sensitive. You are not the problem. Your gut feeling, that nagging persistent alarm, was right all along. This isn't just miscommunication or personality differences. This is calculated control designed to make you question your reality and submit to their agenda. The shame they try to load onto you, the isolation they enforce, the fear they trigger. It's all a performance. The goal is simple. Total dependency, zero accountability. They need you to be small, confused, and desperate. They need you to believe their lies about your worth and their innocence. But here's the truth. Recognizing the pattern is the first crack in their foundation. You saw the game. Now stop playing by their rules. Stop apologizing for demanding basic respect. Stop fixing their messes. Stop trying to earn love from someone who only operates on power. The moment you name the manipulation, it loses its power over you. Your sanity is your strongest weapon. Use it. If this video resonated, hit the like button and share it with someone who needs to hear that they are not crazy. They are being manipulated. Stay sharp, stay safe.